Hi there. We are on day 21 of our Through the New Testament in the order that the events actually happened. So that means jumping around a lot. So today we will be doing Matthew 17, Mark 9, and the last part of Luke 9 as well. So Matthew 17. Okay, and this is the Transfiguration. This is good stuff. So we'll jump over there. Okay, here we go. After 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter and James and John his brother, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. That should make you believe, right? And behold, there appeared to them Moses and Elijah, talking with them. And Peter said to Jesus, Lord, it is good that we are here. If you wish, I will make 3 tents here, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah. He was still speaking when, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and a voice from the cloud said, This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. When the disciples heard this, they fell on their faces and were terrified. But Jesus came and touched them, saying, Rise and have no fear. And when they lifted their eyes, they saw no one but Jesus only. Just that quick, right? Zoom meeting, right? And as they were coming down the mountain, Jesus commanded them, Tell no one of the vision until the Son of Man is raised from the dead. And the disciples asked him, And why did the scribes say that first Elijah must come? He answered, Elijah does come, and he will restore all things. But I tell you that Elijah has already come, and they did not recognize him, but did to him whatever they pleased. So also the Son of Man will certainly suffer at their hands. Then the disciples understood that he was speaking to them of John the Baptist, right? And he said, if you want to believe it, that is Elijah. He said he would come in time. Elijah, Isaiah said that too. Jesus heals a boy with a demon. Then they came to the crowd, and a man came up to him, kneeling before him, said, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he has seizures, and he suffers terribly. For often he falls into the fire, and often into the water, and I brought him to your disciples, and they could not heal him. Jesus answered, O faithless and twisted generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you? Bring him here to me. And Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of him, and the boy was healed instantly. Then the disciples came to Jesus privately and said, Why could we not cast it out? He said, Because of your little faith. For truly I say to you, if you have a faith like a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, Move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. And there's different versions of that, too. So, as they were gathering in Galilee, Jesus said to them, The Son of Man is about to be delivered into the hands of men, and they will kill him, and he will be raised on the 3rd day. And they were greatly distressed. Well, yeah, I would be too. The temple tax. When they came to Capernaum, the collectors of the 2 drachma tax went up to Peter and said, Does your teacher not pay the tax? And he said, Yes. And when he came into the house, Jesus spoke to him first, saying, What do you think, Simon? From whom do kings of the earth take a toll or a tax? From their sons or from others? And when he said, From others, Jesus said to him, Then the sons are free. However, not to give offense to them, go to the sea and cast a hook, and take the first fish that comes out. And when you open its mouth, you will find a shekel. Right? 2 drachma, right? Silver coin worth 4 drachmas, right? Take that and give it to them, and pay for me and for yourself. Just like that. Cool, huh? Okay, Mark 9. Same thing again, okay? Different version, right? Different witness. And he said to them, Truly I say to you, there are some standing here today that will not taste death, and the kingdom has come to its power, okay? Now they left that at the end of the previous chapters on the other one, where he was talking about. Okay, the Transfiguration. After 6 days, Jesus took with them Peter and James and John, and led them up a high mountain by themselves, and he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became radiant, intensely white, as no one on earth could bleach them. And there appeared to them Elijah with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. And Peter said to Jesus, Rabbi, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah. For he did not know what to say, for they were terrified. And a cloud overshadowed him, and a voice came out of the cloud, This is my beloved Son. Listen to him, right? Or whom I am well pleased, right? And suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone. with them, but Jesus only. Is that quick, huh? As they were coming down the mountain, he charged them to tell no one what he had seen until the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what this rising from the dead might mean. And they asked him, why did the scribes say that first Elijah must come? And he said to them, Elijah does come first to restore all things. And how is it written that the Son of Man, that he should suffer many things and be treated with contempt? But I tell you that Elijah has come, and they did to him whatever they pleased, as it was written of him. Right? Now Matthew says that was John the Baptist. Okay? And Jesus alluded to that a couple of times. Okay, Jesus heals the boy with an unclean spirit. And when they came to the disciples, they saw a great crowd around them, and the scribes arguing with them. And immediately all the crowd, when they saw him, were greatly amazed and ran up to him and greeted him. And he asked them, what are you arguing about with them? Someone from the crowd answered him, Teacher, I brought my son to you, and for he has a spirit that makes him mute. And whenever it seizes him, it throws him down, and he foams and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. So I asked your disciples to cast it out, and they were not able. And he answered them, O faithless generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you? Bring him to me. And they brought the boy to him, and when the spirit saw him, immediately it convulsed, and the boy fell on the ground and rolled about, foaming at the mouth. And Jesus asked his father, how long has this been happening to him? And he said, from childhood, and it has often cast him into fire and to water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. Jesus said to him, if you can, all things are possible for one who believes. Immediately the father of the child cried out and said, I believe, help my unbelief. And when Jesus saw that a crowd came running together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, you mute and deaf spirit, I command you, come out of him and never enter him again. After crying out and convulsing him terribly, it came out, and the boy was like a corpse, so that most of them said, he's dead. But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. And when he had entered the house, his disciples asked him privately, why could we not cast it? And he said to them, this kind cannot be driven out by anything but prayer. Prayer and fasting, some of them say, right? Some manuscripts say that. Jesus foretells death and resurrection, brother. They went on from there and passed through Galilee, and he did not want anyone to know, for he was teaching his disciples, saying to them, the Son of Man is going to be delivered into the hands of men, and they will kill him, and when he is killed, after 3 days he will arise. But they did not understand that saying, and were afraid to ask him. Yeah, well, he knew that, though, right? Jesus knows the heart of men. And they came to Capernaum, and when he was in the house, he asked them, what were you discussing on the way? But they kept silent, for on the way they had argued with one another about who was the greatest. And he sat down and called the 12, and he said to them, if anyone would be first, he must be last of all, and servant of all. And he took a child and put him in the midst of them. And taking on his arms, he said, whoever receives one such child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but him who sent me. Right? Anyone not against us? Then John said to him, Teacher, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him because he was not following us. But Jesus said, do not stop him, for no one who does a mighty work in my name will be able to soon afterwards speak evil of me. For the one who is not against us is for us. Truly I say to you, whoever gives you a cup of water to drink because you belong to Christ will by no means lose his reward. Remember when he says later, those people, we cast out demons in your name, and he says, depart from me, I never knew you. These are the people who are casting out demons in his name, but they don't know him. Different subject. Temptation to sin. Whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him if a great millstone were hung about his neck and he were thrown into the sea. Okay. This is what most people leave out right here. It would be better for him if a great millstone were hung around his neck and were thrown into the sea. I see so many memes and cartoons and stuff showing people with millstones around their neck being tossed in the ocean and say, this is what's going to happen to you. Jesus never said the ones who cause the little one who offends the tiniest child is going to have a millstone hung around the neck and thrown into the sea. He never said that. He said it would be better for him if a great millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea than what will actually happen to them. Okay? If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. It is better for you to enter life crippled than with 2 hands and go to hell, to the unquenchable fire. And if your foot causes you sin, cut it off. Okay, rhetorical. Okay. It's better for you to enter life lame than with 2 feet and be thrown into hell. And if your eye causes you to sin, tear it out. It's better for you to enter the kingdom with 1 eye than with 2 eyes and be thrown into hell. Where their worm does not die and the fire is not quenched, for everyone will be salted with fire. Salt is good, but if salt lost its saltiness, how will it be made salty again? Have salt in yourselves and be at peace with one another. Okay. Interesting, huh? Okay, Luke. We're going to finish up Luke 9 now, and that'll be it for today. Quite a bit, actually. Okay. The Transfiguration, again. Okay. Now, about 8 days after these saying, this says about 8. He took with him Peter and John and James and went up to the mountain to pray. As he was praying, the appearance of his face was altered, and his clothing became dazzling white. And behold, 2 men were talking with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his departure, which he was about to accomplish at Jerusalem. Right? Now Peter and those who were with him were heavy with sleep, but when they became fully awake, they saw his glory and the 2 men who stood with him. And as the men were parting from him, Peter said to Jesus, Master, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah. Not knowing what he said. As he was saying these things, a cloud came and overshadowed them, and they were afraid as they entered the cloud. And a voice came out of the cloud saying, This is my son, my chosen one. Listen to him. Right? 3 things in common. This is my son. Listen to him. Right? And when the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone, and they kept silent and told no one in those days of anything that they had seen. Right? The other one said Jesus actually told them not to tell anybody until after he was risen. Right? Okay, the boy with the unclean spirit. On the next day, when they had come down from the mountain, a great crowd met him, and behold, a man from the crowd cried out, Teacher, I beg you to look at my son, for he is my only child. And behold, the spirit seizes him, and he suddenly cries out, and it convulses him so that he foams at the mouth, and it shatters him, and will hardly leave him. And I begged your disciples to cast it out, but they could not. Jesus answered, O faithless and twisted generation, how long am I to be with you and bear with you? Bring your son here. While he was coming, the demon threw him to the ground and convulsed him, but Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit and healed the boy and gave him back to his father. And all were astonished at the majesty of God. Okay? But while they were all marveling at everything he was doing, Jesus said to his disciples, Let these words sink into your ear. The Son of Man is about to be delivered into the hands of men. But they did not understand this saying, and it was concealed from them, so that they might not perceive it. And they were afraid to ask him about his saying. An argument arose among them as to which was the greatest, but Jesus, knowing the reasoning of their hearts, took a child and put him by his side, and said to them, Whoever receives this child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives him who sent me. For he who is least among you all is the one who is great. That least is the greatest. John answered, Master, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and he tried to stop him because he does not follow us. But Jesus said to him, Do not stop him, for one who is not against you is for you. We talked about that. Right? When the days drew near for him to be taken up, he set his face to go to Jerusalem. He sent messengers ahead of him, who went and entered a village of the Samaritans to make preparations for him. But the people did not receive him because his face was set towards Jerusalem. And when his disciples, James and John, saw it, they said, Lord, do you want us to tell fire to come down from heaven and consume them? Brother. Power, right? But he turned and rebuked them, and they went on to another village. The cost of following Jesus. As they were going along the road, someone to him, I will follow you wherever you go. And Jesus said to him, Foxes have holes and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. To another one he said, Follow me. But he said, Lord, let me first go and bury my father. And Jesus said to him, Leave the dead to bury their own dead, but as for you, go and proclaim the kingdom of God. Yet another said, I will follow you, Lord, but let me first say farewell to those at my home. Jesus said to him, No one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God. Wow. The most important, right? He has to be the most important. So there's today's readings, right? Day 21. Right. Now, this is somebody else's list. I copied it and put it in this thing to get all the stories in successive order. All right. Okay, Transfiguration. We're just going to leave it at that. Call that what it is. I even spelled that right. How do you like that? There you go. There's day 21. Okay. And we're going to keep going until we finish the whole thing. Okay. We're still in the Gospels, reading the story 4 times and getting 4 different accounts of it. Right. But it gives you an idea. It gives you the whole rounded story of what everybody saw. So there you go. Catch up on any you may have missed and give us a like if you think about it. And tomorrow we'll do it again. See ya.